You're born into a strange world, floating in a nest made of bubbles. Not just any bubbles. Your dad literally made them with his own saliva. As you hatch, you wiggle free along with thousands of your siblings. All of you look like tiny transparent noodles drifting in the murky water. Your first few movements are wobbly and confused. Left, right, up, down. Who knows which way is which? And if that's not bad enough, you're supposed to be this amazing electric creature, but right now you can barely make a spark. It's like having superpowers, except they forgot to turn them on. But you don't get much time to figure things out. The Amazon River isn't exactly a friendly place for baby electric eels who can't even power a tiny light bulb. Every shadow makes your tiny heart race, and for a good reason. That floating log nearby? Actually a caiman. Think of it as the Amazon's version of a crocodile, just as hungry and just as interested in making you its breakfast. Those bubbles on the surface? Probably a giant fish coming up for a snack, and you're the perfect size for a quick bite. Small, slow, and maybe yummy. Your stomach starts to rumble, and that's when you realize, no mom or dad around to feed you. They dished you faster than a teenager ditching homework. Suddenly you spot something small moving through the murky water. Your first potential meal. You wiggle towards it, but so do about 50 of your siblings. It's chaos. Everyone's scrambling, pushing, shoving, trying to grab this tiny fish. By the time you actually reach where the fish was, all that's left is water and a bunch of equally disappointed brothers and sisters. Turns out being born into a family of thousands means dinner time is never peaceful, and you're definitely not the fastest in the family. Your lungs start burning. Unlike normal fish that can just chill underwater forever, you have to constantly swim up to the surface for air. Yeah, someone clearly messed up in design department. You're a fish that can't properly fish. You look up nervously at the bright surface above. Just as you're about to take your first swim up, you spot a shadow moving overhead. Your heart races, but your lungs are screaming for air. You don't have a choice. You gather all of your courage, zoom up to the surface, grab a quick breath, and dart back down to safety as fast as you can. Well, that's something you'll have to do every single day of your life. Thanks a lot, nature. Oh, and I forgot to tell you something very important. The water you're living in isn't exactly a crystal clear swimming pool. It's the Amazon River, and it's basically brown soup. You can barely see your own tail in front of you, let alone what's swimming around you. You keep bumping into things like logs, rocks, and sometimes angry piranhas, who, by the way, are not interested in your apologies. Sure, you're supposed to develop some fancy electric sensors to help you navigate, but right now, you're about as useful as a broken compass. So here you are, basically blind, swimming around in muddy water, hoping whatever you just crashed into isn't hungry. By your third month, you're starting to generate more power, maybe 10 volts. Congratulations! You've upgraded from completely useless to mildly annoying. Other fish don't flee in terror. They just get slightly irritated, like when someone keeps poking you with a finger. Your hunting technique is less mighty predator and more, please stay still while I try to shock you with my weak battery powers. But here's where things start getting interesting. As you grow, that pathetic zap starts becoming something more substantial. 20 volts, 30 volts, 50 volts. Small fish actually start taking you seriously. Sure, you're still nowhere near full power, but at least you're not the underwater equivalent of a TV remote with dying batteries anymore. By 6 months, you're pushing 100 volts and life is getting better. You spot a juicy fish swimming nearby, the kind that used to laugh at your tiny zaps. You focus, feel the electricity building up in your body, a whole 100 volts now, and let it rip. The fish freezes, stunned by your shock. Success! But there's just one tiny problem you're discovering. Your own electricity flows through the water around you too, so when you rush to grab your stunned prey, you swim right into your own electric field. Ouch! It's like cooking a great meal and then spilling it all over yourself. The fish recovers and swims away while you're left there feeling tingly from your own shock. Who knew being an electric eel meant sometimes zapping yourself during dinner? But hey, at least you're getting better at hunting. You just need to work on your timing. As your first year approaches, you're finally starting to become something that deserves the name electric eel. Your voltage is climbing higher and higher, and predators are starting to think twice before trying to eat you. Sure, you're still stuck in muddy water, still have to surface for air like some confused amphibian, and still occasionally shock yourself. But hey, at least you're not just a living battery with performance issues anymore. Welcome to your teenage years. While human teens worry about acne and awkward school dances, you've got your own special problems. Sure, you're now packing some serious voltage. We're talking 400 volts and climbing. But it's not all shocking glory. Try making friends when you're basically a swimming power plant. Get too excited around another eel? Zap! It's like having a really bad static electricity problem, except instead of small shocks, you might knock someone unconscious. Things are different now. You've discovered you have not just one, but 3 electric superpowers. First, there's your gentle electric pulse, like a built-in radar that helps you see through the murky water. Then comes your medium shock, strong enough to stun small fish for dinner. And finally, your most powerful attack, a massive shock that can even make a caiman think twice about trying to eat you. But being powerful comes with its own problems. The other day, you spotted some fish swimming together, having fun. You tried to join them, but as soon as they saw you coming, they all scattered. Turns out being a living battery means everyone's too scared to be your friend. Plus, creating all this electricity makes you super hungry all of the time. It's like having a superpower that makes you need to eat every few hours. You spot another fish, shock it for dinner, but now you're tired and need to find more food again. Who knew being electric could be so exhausting? There are some good things about being all grown up with your electric powers. The other day, you were swimming along when you felt something move nearby. Not saw it, felt it. Your electric sense has gone so good, you can tell exactly what's swimming around you, how big it is, and which way it's moving. It's like having superpowered eyes that work in the dark, muddy water. You've also found the perfect spot in the river, a cozy bend with plenty of hiding places and lots of fish swimming through. But here's the thing, other electric eels want your spot too. Just yesterday, another eel tried to move in. What happened next was like an underwater light show. Both of you releasing shock after shock, seeing who would give up first. The water practically crackled with electricity. Finally, the other eel decided your spot wasn't worth the trouble and swam away. Being king of your territory isn't easy, but at least you've gotten the power to keep it. After winning the fight and defending your territory, you notice something else, another electric eel swimming by. But this time, it's different. It's not about fighting for territory. There's something special about this one. The only problem? You're both walking power plants. Getting close to another electric eel is tricky business. One wrong move and you both end up shocking each other. So you have to be extra careful. Moving slowly, trying to get close without setting off a spark show. But eventually, you figure out, turns out love really can conquer all. But you know what? Life isn't so bad anymore. Sure, you still have to come up for air like some confused fish-snake hybrid. And yes, sometimes you shock yourself when you're just trying to enjoy a meal. But you've gone from being a pathetic little voltage nugget to becoming one of the Amazon's most powerful creatures. You're not just surviving anymore, you're thriving. Those river otters that used to hunt you, now they spread rumors about how their cousin's friend's sister once got shocked by an electric eel and saw all of their ancestors. That caiman that terrorized you as a baby, it now pretends to be asleep when you swim by. You've become the thing that goes bump and zap in the night. So maybe being born as an electric eel doesn't completely suck anymore. Sure, it's not perfect, but hey, at least you're not a regular fish, still swimming around using their boring old eyes and fins while you're here living your best life as nature's most shocking success story.